This is Gemara and Succah Daf Chav Ches. Today's shir again would like to be sponsored as Chos, the yahrzeit of yesterday's yahrzeit. So Arleah Bashleima Menachem, a close friend of the Daf, would like to acknowledge the yahrzeit as well as dedicate the learning of the entire Chabura to be a tremendous Chos Yil Nishmasa. Of course, the whole month of Av, as the month concludes, we have a few more days left, has been generously sponsored. Succah and Avram Yehuda, as well as Rechel Ba Sham Shnayar Tzvi, learning the entire Chabura to be a tremendous Chos Yil Nishmasa. Of course, a Chali Man Vevek Chaim Misar. Raise the Sarbas Canendal to Basim Schaysay Shalom Indol, Eliezer Peres and Shalei Shalom as Nami Bashaviga Shekhan Shmom and Til Dim and Chavezah bin Chaim and the Rachas of Musa, Adinena Mashin Min Zim Vegibur, Nichalasuna Sehuva, Rivka Bas Basheva, Naftali Spim Lachleser, Besay Shar, Chayle Yisrael. We pick it up on the very top of Chav Ches Amud Aleph. We just concluded with a discussion of the sheet on top of the sukkah, and we spoke about whether you're going to be mevatel it there or not. I don't know if we explained the last teretz properly, so let's just speak it out right now. The Gemara de Kasha, that why can't you put a sheet over the top? What was the problem? We learned that Eliezer's opinion was by pekaka chalon, by the the window shutter. The window shutter, you're not allowed, once it's tied and once it's hanging there, Lezer said it's allowed, but if not, you're not allowed to put it there. So the sheet should be similarly and should be forbidden. On that, the Gemara answered, Hasam is mavatale, by the Pekak Chalom, you're leaving it there, and that's the reason why it's an issue. But the sheet, as the top Rashi speaks out, as you see in front of you, Aval Sadin, but the sheet, Anan Sadi, we have a testimony to Lod Mavatale Gavi Sukkah, and therefore you're going to take it if it's not so posh, and that's the reason why Eliezer asked it as a shayla. Now we pick up, says the Gemara, Tanu Rabbanan, on the second line of Chalches Amud Aleph. Mais Rabbi Eliezer Shabbos beGalil Al Yoin. He was dwelling in the upper Galil. Shalua Shleishim Alachis. They asked him 30 shaylas. Belchas Sukkah Shtei Mesrei Amar Lem Shemati. On 12 of them, he said, I heard the answer from my Rebbe. Shemayin Esrei, but on 18 Amar Lem Lo Shemati. Raise Rabbi Yehuda a little bit differently. Chilav Advar, the opposite. Shemayin Esrei Amar Lem Shemati. 18 he heard. Shem Esrei Amar Lo Shemati. 12 he did not hear. And again, this is the continuation of Rabbi Eliezer, of the opinion that he never repeated anything that he didn't hear from his Rebbe, as we'll see right now, where he got this practice from. Amr Lai, called Varecha in an element Piashmuda. Everything is only Piashmuda, which you hear from the Rebbe. Amr Lahem, and Rabbi Eliezer said, yeah, his Kaktuni Laimar Davar, Shashamati Pi Rabbi Sai, you're trying to force me to say something. It was more of a question. They asked him, they said, called Varecha in element Piashmuda. Is everything you say, you don't say anything in your own? And Rabbi Eliezer responded, yes, you're trying to force me to say something I didn't hear from my Rebbe. But says Rabbi Eliezer, 3 lines of the wide lines. Number 1, I was always first in base medrash. Number 2, I never fell asleep in the base medrash, neither a real sleep or not even a nap. He never dozed off during his learning. On the first wide line, Rabbi Eliezer continues, on the base medrash. I never left while someone else was in the base medrash, meaning I was always last to leave. So I was first to enter, last to leave. Number 3, number 4. I didn't talk any trivial matters in the base medrash. Number 5. I never said anything that I didn't hear from my Rebbe forever. So that was the Maila, and the Gaiva of Rabbi Eliezer was he was there first. He stayed late. He never slept. He never dozed off. He never spoke trivial matters in the base medrash, and as well, he always said only that which he heard from his Rebbe. So he said, I'm not going to change that right now. And now we say something about his Rebbe, Amar Love. Al Rabbi Yechon and Zakkai, says the Gemara, Miyamav. In my entire days, I never spoke about trivial matters, number 1. I never walked 4 amos without Torah. Without tefillin, on the base of medrash. I was always first. I never fell asleep in base medrash. And you would think someone that walks and is so engrossed in learning, perhaps when he's in a filthy alleyway, maybe he'll think of learning. He says, no, I was in complete control of my body. When it was a dirty alley, I made sure not to think of learning. Never left anyone based medrash, meaning I was last to leave. I never found anyone sitting and was silent. I never was silent. I would sit and I would review and sit and review. I was always learning. And no one else opened up the door for my Talmidim aside from himself. Also that he served his Talmidim. He had the Kavod HaTorah that he always opened the door for his Talmidim. And he as well never said anything that he didn't hear from his Rebbe in his life. And they never said it's time to learn the Beis Medrash Chutz. The only time he left the Beis Lamed, he never said it's time to get up. Learning's finished. No, he never stopped. Chutz side 4, Erev Pesachim, Erev Yom Kippurim, Erev Pesach, Korban Pesach, Erev Yom, and to prepare for the Pesach Seder, and Erev Yom Kippur, cause of Yom Kippur. So it's similar to Rav Eliezer, we saw Rav Yochanan ben Zakkai. And now number 3, V'chein Rav Eliezer, Talmidai, Rav Eliezer, his Talmud, like we spoke out, No Yigachav, that's Rav Eliezer got this idea to only say everything be Rabbi from his Rebbe Rav Yochanan ben Zakkai. Tanu Rabbanan, says the Gemara, continuing on this theme, Tanu Rabbanan, Shmoinim Talmidim Hillel Hazakin. Hillel Hazakin had 80 Talmidim, Shloisha Mehem, Rim Shetishal Shechina. 30 of them had the Shechina on them. Moshe Rabbeinu, like Moshe Rabbeinu himself. Who Shloisha Mehem had 30 of them, Rim Shamnem Chamik Shubenon. They were so great that it was right that the sun would stop for them like a Shubenon. Esrim, 20 of them, Beinanim, were average. Gadol Shabbakulam, the greatest one, Yonis ben Uziel. Kadol Shabbakulam, the smallest one, was Yochanan ben Zakkai, like we just spoke about. Now we say further, Amro level Yochanan ben Zakkai. Shayniach Mikra, he learned Mikra, Torah, Mishnah, Gemara, Halachis, Agados, Dikduki Torah, all these nuances, the Dikduki Seifrim, Kalim, the Chamurim, the light ones and the hard ones. Kizir Shavais, Tkufais, Gemachis, all the Gemachis of the Torah. Sichas Malachi Yasharis, he knew how the angel spoke. V'sichas Shadim, how the Shadim spoke, Sichas Dekalim. He knew how the palm tree spoke. Mishallah is all the Mishalom of the Kaifsin of the Wanderers, Mishalom Shulim, the fox parables, Davar Gadol, Davar Katan, something large, something small. What does that mean? Davar Gadol is Meiser Merkava, Davar Katan is Avayis, Abayi, Rava, all the questions of Abayi and Rava. Lekayim Hashanemar, this was all to fulfill the pasuk of Lahanchal Oya Vayesh, to say Mimale, that his Eitzar, his storehouse, was filled with Torah. He was filled with every single aspect, every single part of Torah. That was the smallest of Hillel's Talmidim. Gadol Shabbakulam Malachas Kama V'Kama. Amar Lava Yonis of Niziel. They said about Yonis of Niziel, Shashi Yoshev Isaac Torah. When he would sit and learn, Kol Oiv Shapayreach Alam Miyan Nisraf. That any bird that flew over his head, the fire of Torah would burn him up. That was of the greatest. That was Yonis ben Uziel, the wonderful 80 Talmidim of Hillel Hazakin, and this all stemmed from the fact we spoke about Rav Eliezer, that he only said everything with P. Rabbi, which he learned from Rav Yochanan ben Zakkai, his Rabbi, that only said everything with P. Rabbi, and then we went into different milos of different Talmidim, different Rabbanim, different Gedolim, Hillel, and his Talmidim, Rav Yonis ben Uziel, etc. Says the Mishnah, a new Mishnah, Misha Haya Roishai V'Ruba B'Sukkah, concept that we saw in the beginning of the Masechta. Someone that's sitting in a sukkah, and his head and his body is in the sukkah. But v'shulchanai, his table of Succah b'hais. Beishamai, Poislin, Beisel Machshim. Amran Beisel Beishamai. Beisel says Beishamai, why is it possible? Lokacha Yamaiso was not a story. Shalchus Zikne Beishamai Zikne Beisilel. Levakas v'yocham and chornis, to visit v'yocham and chornis. Umatusha Yoshev Rosh Ruba b'sukkah. They saw him sitting. His head and his body was in the sukkah. V'shulchanai and his table was Succah b'hais. You say it's possible, but we went to visit and no one said anything. Beishamai responded, no. Misham Raya, what's your Raya? They said something to him. They said to him, if this is how you sit in a sukkah, you never will get to the mitzvah. That's what Beishamai held. Part number 1 of this Mishnah. Part number 2, Noshim, Avadim, Kitanim, P'tur min ha-sukkah. Women, slaves, and children are put from the sukkah. But a minor that doesn't need his mother, meaning he doesn't go minor until the age of 13, is a unique level. A child that doesn't need his mommy, chayiv b'sukkah. Ma'asav is the story of Yalda Kalasa Shalshamei Hazakein, that she gave birth. Upichai says Maziva, he took off the plaster of the ceiling, and he made a sukkah for the newborn baby, which of course sounds interesting, because we just said a moment ago that you only are obligated in sukkah for the age you don't need your mother, and of course a newborn baby does need the mother. Of course that will be the discussion in the Gemara. Says the Gemara, Ramanan, immediately, where do we know this? State in the Mishnah. As we learned in a Brisa, Ezrach. It says in a pasuk, the resident, that's who's chayiv in a sukkah is Ezrach. Ha-Ezrach, what does it mean, the resident? That's we know that women are excluded and are not chayiv in sukkah. Kol, the word kol, is the rabbi says and the children are yes chayiv. So women are excluded and children are included. Says the Gemara, Amar Mar, Ha Ezrach is Loitzias Anashim, Lememra. This means to say, the Ezrach, that the word Ezrach without the hey, what did that mean? Bein Nashim and Gavri. That would mean woman or, male or female. Mashma, that's what it's mashma. And then Ha Ezrach, like Shohei, is excluding woman. Vatanya asked the Gemara, Ha Ezrach l'Rabbi Anashim, a different Brisa says that the hey includes woman. Answers the Gemara, and that Brisa continues, and the word Ezrach teaches us that women are chayiv in Inoy and Yom Kippur. Alma, what do we see? That Ezrach is Gavri Mashma. The word Ezrach is men, and the Ha-Ezrach is woman. But we just said no, Ezrach is men or woman, and the Ha-Ezrach excludes woman. So Amar Rabba, 4 lines from the bottom, really it's Allah Sinai that women are excluded from Sukkah. And then they found the pasuk to pin it on. Hey, Kra v'heyach. So it says, what's the pasuk? What's Allah Mishinai? The Su, and furthermore, Kra lamali. Why do you need a pasuk? Velchas lamali. Memadashach. What's going on over here? If you have Allah, you don't need a pasuk. If you have a pasuk, you don't need Allah Mishinai. What exactly is going on over here? Answers the Gemara. Succah mitzvah seishes man grami. It's part of the kasha. Says the Gemara, why do you need a pasuk or Allah Mishinai? Succah is mitzvah seishes man grama. It's a time bound mitzvah. V'chol mitzvah seishes man grama. What's Allah nashim betura? Says the Gemara, so why do we need a pasuk at all? For Yom Kippurim, and what about Yom Kippur? Because that was the pasuk of Ha'ezrach was about Yom Kippur. For Yom Kippurim, with Rav Yehuda Merav Nafka, we learn that from somewhere else. Dam Rav Yehuda Merav, v'cheitan v'vei Yishmael, Amar Kra, Ish ay Isha. The pasuk says man or woman. As we turn over to Chav Chesem Beis, Hishva Kasav Isha Lish Chalain Sheba Taira. We learn from there when it comes to punishments, Yom Kippur, men and women are equal. So says the Gemara, something is not flowing over here. First of all, we started off, Ha-Ezrach is excluding women. Ezrach is men or women. Number one, we have a kasha. It's not true. Because we have a Bryce elsewhere by Yom Kippur that says Ezrach is men, Ha-Ezrach includes women. So what's going on? Is it including or excluding? Number two, why do we need any? So answer the Gemara, really, halach l'moshe Sinai. So what's the pasuk? Asmachta. Says the Gemara, what's going on? If you have asmachta, why do you need a pasuk? Why do you need halach l'moshe Sinai? If you have halach l'moshe Sinai, why do you need the pasuk? And furthermore, what do you need anything for? It's a classic mitzvah seishes man grama. So that's why women are butter. So we have many issues. Now comes along Abaye, we're going to have two terutzim, Abaye and Rava, to set the score straight. Amar Abaye, Chav Chesem and Beis, 2 lines down, says Abaye, La'ila B'Sukkah Hilchasa. Really, it's Lach L'Shvi Sinai. V'etzterech, so why do we need the pasuk? Sagad Etzchamin, I would think Keishvu Kein Taduru, there's a svara, or actually Exeris I Kosav Teisha Kein Taduru that we've seen many times. So that should teach us that Madira, just like when you live in your house, Ish ve'ishtoi, man and woman, Afsaka ish ve'ishtoi, Kamash malad. That's why we need a pasuk. That's why we need Lach L'Shvi Sinai. We wanted to know what he means by Seishes Man Grama. That's true. But Teishu Kein Taduru should come and supersede that. And that we answered that we have a halach l'shvi Sinai and a hasmachta. That's the Torah of Abaye. Rav Amar Rav answers Yitzrich. We need the pasuk. Maybe we should learn out from Pesach. Ma lahalon by Pesach nashchayavois. Women are obligated to matzah. Afkan nashchayavois. Kamash malon. That's what we need the pasuk and halach l'shvi Sinai. Says more great. 2 sources, Abaye and Rava, either from matzah or Teisha Kein Taduru, and that's why it's not a regular mitzvah seishes man grama. That's why we need sources. Says Marav Hash Adam Sukkah Chasa. Fine. So now we know we need something. But once you tell me it's halach l'shvi Sinai, what do we need a pasuk for? Answers the Gemara for something else. The Gemara concedes. The rabbi says I Gerim and includes Gerim converts. It has to be a Jew of born and bred. Yisrael. And that Gerim are included. It says the Gemara Yom Kippurim. How do we know they did by Yom Kippur? Learn from Yudam Rab, Ella, Inois. You're right. We already could have known the din. Why do we need extra pasuk for the din of Teisefes, the additional time being Hashmash, Isachat Chamina? Haylo mir Rachmano Teisefes Inoi, Me Oinesh, or Me Azhara. we don't have a special pasuk of the Einish and Azara of the Teisefes of the din of adding on to Yom Kippur. So we would have thought so maybe women are completely excluded. Kamash Malan, no, Kamash Malan, the women are included in the din of Yom Kippur. So at the end of the day, we have two terutim, Sukkah, Teshu came to Duru, or we learn out from Pesach. Those were the Hava, meaning the women were included. Therefore, we need Allah Moshe Sinai teaches women are excluded. What do we do with the pasuk? The pasuk is teaching us to include Gerim, and when it comes to Yom Kippur, it's teaching us a different din of Teisefes Yom Kippurim that you would have thought is not included because there's no Einish and Azhara. So you would have thought women are not obligated on the din of Teisefes and adding on to Yom Kippur. Kamash Malan, the pasuk of Kamash Malan that by Yom Kippur Ha Ezrach, the women are yes included. That was the extra hey to include women over there. Amar Mar says Mar, beautiful. About 12 lines down. First word line is Amar. So let's move on. Kitanim Amar Mar. Yo Kol Rabbi says Kitanim. The word Kol includes Kitanim are obligated in Sukkah. V'atanam we learned to the Mishnah. Nashavadim Kitanim Peturim in Sukkah. What's going on? Loikasha kan bekadosh Yigel Chinuch kan bekadosh Yigel Chinuch. Says the Gemara. Okay, great. Kadosh Yigel Chinuch midrabananu. It's a din derabanan. Midrabanan v'kras machta ba'almahu. Meaning, if it's a din derabanan by Yigel Chinuch, what's a pasuk? Says, Mar, you're right. It's a din derabanan, and the pasuk is an asmachta, just coming on top of the din derabanan. Great. So we have two types of kitanim, Yigel Chinuch or not. And then the Mishnah came along, and the Mishnah said, Tzarich li'imai. Kadosh she'enei tzarich li'imai is obligated. It says the Gemara. What exactly is this case? What is the getter? What is this barometer to know if the child needs its money? That money. First answer, when the child uses the bathroom, he doesn't need his mother to wipe him. That's the first level of a kid not needing his mother. Reb Shimon Aimer, no, a different way. It means a child that doesn't wake up and doesn't need its mother. Answers the Gemara, what do you mean? Kedailim nami karu? What do you mean older children, not kedailim, doesn't mean 15-year-olds, but older children also wake up and call their mother, so how could that be the qualification? Answers the Gemara, meaning it's not uncontrollable. It's true. An older child might wake up and call its mother, but if the mother doesn't answer, he'll be okay. But the level that the child will wake up, call its mother, and if the mother doesn't answer, will be uncontrollable, that's the level of someone that's not chayiv in sukkah. Older than that would be obligated. So two ways, either the child needs his mother to wipe him, or the child calls out to the mother in the middle of the night. Says the Gemara, we concluded the Mishnah, Maisa v'yaldik halasai. Ask the Gemara, like we spoke about, Maisa lista, it contradicts itself. Answers the Gemara, Chasiri mechsa v'achi ketani. Shamai mach. It's a chasuri machzor, we're missing words in the Mishnah. V'shamai machmir. We have to insert into the Mishnah that Shammai was stringent on children. Oh my senami, and the proof is v'yaldik halas shel Shammai. The daughter-in-law of Shammai gave birth. Hazaki nu pasach is mazeva, and Shammai himself opened up the roof. That's the chumrah of Shammai, which was not said in the Mishnah. We have to insert that into the Mishnah, and then the story makes a lot of sense. Says the Mishnah of Chesem and Beis. This is the final Mishnah of this parak, which we will conclude tomorrow. Call Shiva Sayyamim Adamaisa Sukkah Kevo Beisayrai. We've seen this many times. All 7 days of Yom Tov, this really is concluding the portion of Masechet Sukkah dealing with the Sukkah. The next parak is going to go into Lulav. Says the Mishnah, 7 days you sleep in your Sukkah Keva, and your house is temporary. Yardug Shamim, if it rains, Me'emasai Motalafana, when do you leave the Sukkah? Mishatizrach HaMikvah, when the parrot spoils. Mishaloi. Mashloi, what is the parable? Mashal Lamad Davardaimeh. Compared to Levish of a limzay kais the rabbi, come to pour your Rebbe, not your Rebbe, your master, same thing. Your master a cup to drink, and he throws it on your face. That's what rain on Sukkot is. Let's just begin the Gemara. All 7 days of the Sukkah, and your house is temporary. Gatesad, how you like Kalim Nam, you have beautiful Kalim Mal and Sukkah, bring it to the Sukkah. Matois, noise, you have beautiful mats, you have beautiful linens, Mal in the Sukkah, and you chill, you hang out, you live, you be, Sukkah in the Sukkah. Menan, immediately where do we know this from? Tanur Rabban, we went to the Raisa. Teishvu kein taduru, mikan amru, kol shivas hayamim, oisa adam sukkah keva, ubeisei arai. Keitzad, Hayla Nam, your beautiful Kalim Al in the Sukkah, Matzah is nice, beautiful linen Al in the Sukkah, Eichel the Shaisim, Matail, the Sukkah, Umeshan in the Sukkah, and as well, you sleep in the Sukkah. And we're going to stop over here. We'll pick up for the end of Amid Mir Tashem tomorrow.